Drew, nice to get the win, I'm sure, to bounce back after last week. I'm sure everyone's pretty happy.
Yeah, we're happy. It was a great effort today, and it was nice to win by a few goals. But straight away, thoughts moved to St Kilda. Still got a lot of hard work to do to entrench ourselves in the 8. So it's very tight, as we all know, and whilst we want to relish and enjoy the moment of winning, you've got to move on pretty quick.
How important is that when last week was the opposite, you had a bad loss? You don't just move on, you review it and keep what you need to keep and move on. And this week, other side of the coin, you win, but you've got to do the same thing. How key is that to keep a level head through all the wins and losses?
I think it's important that when you win or lose, well, certainly when you win, you don't get carried away, and when you lose, you don't hit rock bottom. So you've got to try and be measured regardless of the result. So that's what that was this week after the loss to Collingwood. It was a really measured week. We didn't, like externally, there was stuff going on everywhere. People were throwing rocks and stones and pot shots at us, and it was a really level and measured week around the footy club. So that's important that we do that again this week. Is that yeah, the win was good. It was great. JK 6 and a lot of good contributors, but yeah, it's without sounding like too deflating or flattening after a win. It's important that we don't get carried away today and move on to the St Kilda pretty quick.
First time for you shouldering nearly all the ruck load. You've been working with Vards all year. He's not out there this week. So how was that for you playing the not a lone hand, but most of the time in the ruck?
I think most of the year when I've been in the ruck, the boys on the deck have had to do some hard work, given that I don't give them first use as much as Vards, and certainly not as much as what they've been used to with Scotty and Nick over the years. So I think Reddo and Sheeter and Mitch and all the guys that went through the midfield today were really good at burrowing in and getting after the footy when he hit the deck. So I think Steph Martin had a lot of hit-outs today. I think he doubled the amount that I had. But when you've got blokes like those guys I mentioned on the deck, it certainly helps drive the footy our way.
What's it like for someone who's nearer the end of their career than the start, watching someone make their debut like Pardo and fit in and play his role?
Yeah, Pardo was great today. Really noticed his composure, didn't look out of place, and he's deserved his position. He's had to wait till, I don't even know what round it is, but he's had to wait till this week to debut, given that he's been one of East Perth's most consistent, if not their most consistent all year. So, yeah, you get some enjoyment out of seeing a bloke debut, and he did his role really well, and he'll be certainly very happy with how he performed today, and no doubt he'll be there next week again.
We've seen all year that there's no easy games, and you won't be underestimating the Saints, especially with them coming with a sting in their tail after the upsetting finish they had in Adelaide. What are your thoughts on that one? Just looking forward already.
Yeah, St Kilda were great on the weekend. Very stiff. You're right. I think they'll be confident, knowing that they've played and performed so well against Port in Adelaide. They want to make amends quite quickly. So important for us to recognise their strengths and identify them during the week, and get back into some hard work, train really well during the week, prepare well for them, do our research on their players and how they play, and then get into them next Sunday.